Throughout 2018, the world watched a humanitarian crisis unfold in Myanmar. More than 700,000 Rohingya, a Muslim ethnic minority group in Myanmar, fled their homes due to what the UN called, quote, textbook ethnic cleansing by the military. They're now living in camps in Bangladesh, while human rights groups are calling for those responsible in Myanmar to be prosecuted. As the new year begins, we wanted to take a look at where the crisis stands today. Joining us this morning is John Packer, who formerly investigated human rights violations in Myanmar for the UN and is now the director of the University of Ottawa's Human Rights Research and Education Center. John, Happy New Year, and thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure. Happy New Year to you, too.
So the report describes Rohingyas being raped and murdered in front of their families, while whole villages were being burnt to the ground. As an expert in human rights, what guaranteed rights of the Rohingya can we say indisputably were violated?
Oh, virtually everything, and it's not new. I mean, just as you noted, the United Nations has actually been reporting on this publicly for 30 years. So the breadth of and the depth of violations is really across the entire spectrum, all political, civil, social, economic, cultural, religious. I mean, it really goes the whole gamut. And by the way, it's getting tighter. Latest reports in the last few days is that there are even more controls on their movement and so forth.
Well, that's where we stand today. Let's look at where the Rohingya could end up, because their future is in doubt. On one hand, you've got the Myanmar government. They say they want to repatriate the refugees, while the government of Bangladesh says that they want to build housing on Basar Char, which is an island in the Bay of Bengal. Now, they plan to relocate 100,000 refugees there. Are either of these options viable?
No, neither are viable. First of all, the Bangladeshi plan is only for 100,000, and Bangladesh is hosting right now but at least 1.3 million, because, of course, they're hosting hundreds of thousands who were pushed out previously than last year. I mean, it's been about 725,000 just in the last year. And inside Myanmar, there's anywhere from 400,000 to 500,000. About 130,000 are in nothing less than concentration camps. We really don't know the real situation of most Myanmar Rakhine Rohingya right now, because, in fact, access to the international community is denied by the Myanmar government. We can only guess, and also from some of the reports we are receiving from people who get out, and also refugees who continue to come out, that the situation is dire.
So let's look at what Canada can do in this position, because this is a conversation as Canadians that we participated in and followed pretty much all last year. And you were one of 100 legal experts who signed a letter urging Prime Minister Trudeau to declare the crisis a genocide. Now, quickly, if Canada were to declare this a genocide, does that trigger something in our international relations, our public policy? Does that set us on a particular diplomatic track? And if so, what responsibilities, what duties, what powers do we have?
Well, there's, first of all, a logical implication of this. And you remember, going back a bit further, in the summer of 2017, our foreign minister made a well-reputed speech in Parliament where she declared that Canada would, above all, uphold international law and be a defender of human rights. And the Prime Minister reiterated this in a number of occasions. First and foremost, in the kind of corpus of international law is the Convention on the Prohibition of Genocide. And actually on its punishment. And now you also will know that last September, not the government, but the Parliament of Canada, including all of the government members in a unanimous vote of both houses, declared that there is genocide. So the logical deduction is, if it is this unanimous view that there's genocide, Canada is a state party to the Genocide Convention. So is Myanmar. And the obvious next step would be, and it's prescribed in the convention, bring the matter to the International Court of Justice. So that's an available and would be a logically next step to follow.
John, thank you very much. We're going to have to end it there, but of course we will be following this story very, very closely in 2019. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.